through this platform, we must engage. This is an opportunity that our leadership has given us. We must ensure then, when we engage, it also gives us an opportunity to reflect. Because when you hear the words back and you listen to them out loud, it also gives you an opportunity to internalize what your concerns are, reflect on them, and actually see how we can overcome those challenges together. Because as an organization as big as the city of Windhoek, we can only collectively overcome our challenges if we all work towards a common goal. Therefore, Your Worship, both worships, honorable councillors, thank you very much for this opportunity. You have come into the city, you have seen our needs, and you are busy addressing those needs. And staff engagements, I think, is one of the key needs in this organization to pull us together in terms of our values that I've mentioned earlier around teamwork. So thank you for your leadership, Your Worship, for making this a reality. And we look forward to not just to tonight, but all future engagements where the rest of the staff will also be engaged at a similar platform to be able to voice their concerns. But tonight is extra special. As our seniors, we all look up to you. So this is an opportunity for you not to just leave your concerns, but also your wisdom, how we can together make the city a better organization. Welcome again and enjoy the evening.
pura komputer at nuku pura ambano ka. Pena apa pumabe kutoka ambano no. Okay.
I will take the lead. Good evening, our beloved seniors. My name is Clemencia Hanases, and I'm the Deputy Mayor. I thank you. Good evening, everyone. I stand on the protocol observed. I'm really thrilled to be here this evening. My name is Ilse Keister. I am a councillor. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Magdalena Lompat, councillor, City of Windhoek. Good evening, our seniors. It is indeed a blessing to have all of you in our midst. My name is Sade Shireen Governors, and I'm also one of the councillors. Thank you.
Good evening to all our seniors. My name is Ivan Scriver, and I'm also a councillor of the city of Windhoek.
Good evening again. My name is Jenny Kumali, and just for a few days, I am the acting CEO, but in my normal job, I am the AC Finance. And that's why I took the opportunity when I had it to talk about our financial challenges. I must always use every opportunity that I get. So very excited to see you all and meet you all. This is my first year. I've just, I think in September, I just made a year at the city. So of course, you can share many stories about the city, and I'm always looking forward to hear about the culture, the real culture of the city.
Good evening, all honorable councillors, and good evening, all colleagues. I must say I was surprised to see some of you here today. Sometimes the age can be misleading on the face, but yeah. My name is Pierre van Rensburg. I'm AC of Urban and Transport Planning, and I hope you all enjoy the evening. Thank you.
Good evening, Your Worship. I must come to the size of Bola. Honorable Councillors, good evening. Senior citizens, good evening. About to be. I am Wakaluba Kakalombiade. Waka. I'm acting as a Strategic Executive Economic Development and Community Services for a few days. I must say I'm surprised you look different without your PPEs. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Worship. Captain, I'm looking at your stars. I'm Chief Abraham Totokeni Kanime. I'm the head of the Windhoek City Police Service, and I'm quite happy to see all the faces, especially the fact that most of you are the institutional memories of this organization, and therefore I'll appreciate His Worship the Mayor and the Honorable Councillors to come up with this initiative of calling the people that are at this age, or not only this age, all employees based on age categories, so that they come together, because some of us are likely to leave any time, and otherwise this is a very good opportunity to see your faces, although the mask hides the real faces. Thank you very much.
And your team for doing such a wonderful job in preparation of this important task. And I know a lot of people doubted what you are doing. Colleagues from the Office of the Mayor, colleagues from External Relations and from the event committee, thank you very much for the wonderful work you have done. There was a tent in the morning, and we had to ask you to dismantle that tent, and so that people can have free air and admire the atmosphere. So thank you very much for the wonderful work that you have done. We have also invited leaders of political party, or representatives rather of political parties that are represented in council. So I see there are members of parliament that are present here, so we welcome them for being here. We welcome all councillors led by the capable leader in the Deputy Mayor, Clemencia Hanases, the executive team, and everybody else who's here. So I don't have a written speech. I want to really have a conversation with you. You know better. I was just born in 1987. To some of you, I can be your child. Some of you, I can be your grandchild. So I have nothing much really to say much to you. So it's really an engagement. If everything else that your child is going to talk about is nonsense, I at least want you to learn one thing. That I'm talking about, and I hope to have a conversation with you about moving from the zone of non-being to the zone of being. And I will explain in details what it means. And I hope the translators are taking the note in terms of what is it that I'm saying. There was a man, one of the Africans that were taken from this continent into slavery. His name was Frantz Fanon. And then he was explaining exactly what has happened to the colonial project. And he was saying, what has actually happened during the colonial project, they actually draw a line. And they call that the line of the human. So there are people who exist above the line of the human, and there are people that exist below the line of the human. And those that are below the line of the human, they are in the zone of non-being. And those that are above there, they are in the zone of being. The people who are in the zone of being are the rich. So the security guard, this is a real case that happened in Windhoek. So this security guard lives in the informal settlement of Windhoek. One day, his child was sick, and in the middle of the night, they had to physically carry the child to Katutura Hospital and walk because there was no taxi at the time. And it was about in the morning, 4 o'clock. So, and you know the congested nature of Katutura Hospital, they had to spend a lot of time there. And usually the security guards are the first one to arrive at the building and to open the door. So this particular security guard is the one who had the key. So unfortunately, he could not get to work on time because he was at the hospital. At about 6:30, the child died. But he's the one with the key to open the gate of the workplace. So by 6:30, he's already at the premises. So because the child died and he was disorientated, he quickly had to rush home and just freshen up and get the keys to go and open up. By the time he got to the office, it was 8 o'clock. So he found the CEO and everybody else at the door, complaining now. These security guards, they are highly incompetent. What are you doing? We pay you guys a lot of money. What are you doing here? And now the security guard was attempting to explain that my child died. I spent the whole early morning at the hospital. But no one could give an opportunity to that security guard to even explain why they are late. The CEO, the managers, and all those other important people could not give an opportunity to a person just to explain that I'm late because I was at the hospital and my child died. That is what happened to people who are existing in Fanon's way, in the zone of non-being. Even when somebody dies in your family, you don't even get an opportunity to be able to explain. We need to move as a society to a situation where we dignify, even a security guard, get an opportunity to explain and ask, why is it that you are late? Instead of the CEO just saying, no, I'm not interested in your explanation. You're supposed to be here to open the door. This is what happens when you are in the zone of non-being. And that's where we want to move out. We want to move our society, we want to move people from the zone of non-being, where the humanity doesn't matter, where your child death doesn't matter, to a situation where people can actually get to listen to you. But when the brother of the CEO passes on, when the mother of the CEO passes on, the entire workplace, an email is sent out by HR to announce that the CEO is not going to be in office because his mother's brother passed on. Because the CEO exists in the zone of being, the humanity of the CEO is recognized. The brother of the CEO's mother, their humanity is recognized. How can we be in a society where one denominator, which is death, is recognized differently? We can only explain it in the Fanon conception of the zone of being and the zone of non-being, where to others, the humanity doesn't matter. So what I seek to do in this conversation is to also just say, as a collective leadership, we want to move from the zone of non-being to the zone of being. There is also a story that is quite popular, and I will not be able to put the details, but those of you that are older, maybe you might have heard of the story. There was this man who had worked for a long time for this politician. When in Namibia, we move people from one ministry to the other. One day you are in the Ministry of Works, and tomorrow you are in the Ministry of Education. So they've been moving from one ministry to another with this minister. To an extent, because this personal assistant of the minister, because he existed in the zone of non-being, his only role was to write speeches for the politician to go and speak. So one day this man was retiring, and the politician did not actually even notice that this personal assistant that they've been together for a number of years is actually retiring. So the co-workers were organizing a farewell party, and the minister did not know that this man is retiring. So he came in the office and rushed and I have to go to address a meeting in Marienthal, quickly organize a speech. That day was actually the last day of this man in office. And the man was so heartbroken after 20 years of being together You actually don't even realize that today is my last day in office. You are asking me on my last day to write a speech. But this is what the man was saying, but he didn't say it to him because he was so heartbroken. But he decided anyway to write a speech. So he wrote the first page. Beautiful speech saluting everyone, those things of son of the soil, all those things, and all those salutations on the first page. And towards the last page, there was a very powerful sentence, and he was saying, this ministry is very serious, and as a result, we are going to come up with quite a number of drastic measures. And these measures are as follows, and please listen attentively. Now, this is what happened with our politicians. They don't even read their speeches in advance. Right? So you see when they are addressing the speeches, just come there. So I was reading loud, they say, this ministry is very serious, and we are going to have 5 key interventions. And listen attentively. Now, on the second page, so the men have put in bold letters, you are on your own. So now people are waiting for the announcement of 5 key interventions. And the guy was just, because he now sees that you are now on your own. It was written, in bold, you are now on your own. Today was my last day at work. He did not realize that at that point, the line of the human, the zone of being and the zone of non-being become very blurry. Then he began to understand and appreciate those things. And that's what we are talking about. If we don't move away from that division of the line of the human, where some other people's humanities are more important than the others, you will still find yourself in those terrible situations. Again, Fanon is seminal in assist us in understanding these things. And I hope translators, you are going to do justice. So, but also think about something that is very close. I was told of something that is quite disturbing. That there is a policy at the city of Windhoek that if the biological parents of one of the councillors die, there's some policies like they must get flowers, they must get somebody to go with them to the funeral at the city's cost. But I'm not sure whether it also happens to you. When your parents die, whether the city also gives flowers when your mother died. But apparently there is something like that for us as councillors. It is quite disheartening to have situations like that. Again, it vindicates this division of the line of the human, where those of us that are councillors, when our parents die, we get flowers and we get people to accompany us to mourn because we are existing in the zone of being, and the rest of the employees exist in the zone of non-being. But I'm sure there's something that can be done about it. I'm sure HR could have conversation about that. Is it just, can we live in a society like that? These councillors are not the ones who drafted that policy. They found it, and I'm sure many of them have not gotten an opportunity to read it yet. It's something that they found, but can we live with that? We need to move from the zone of non-being to the zone of being for everybody. And Fanon also assists us in this understanding. When we had the junior council, they asked me to speak at that event, and there's a madam who's in our office, Auntie Suzanne. Auntie Suzanne, are you here? Can you please come? So Auntie Suzanne has been in the office of a mayor making coffee for all those previous mayors for about 20-something years. So when they asked me to come and give a keynote address, so I asked that she must rather go and speak to those kids, because she knows the institution better. But that was only purpose to be able to say there are people who understand. But she said something that was so profound. And she said that, no, my child was actually also part of the junior council in 2014, in 2015. But none of us knew about it. None of us were ever going to talk about it. And even when we gave a chance to speak to the children, we did not know that she had a case like that. So, but the point is to say that even those people that we see and think they are in the zone of non-being, they are just ordinary employees. They have a story to tell. I could give you many examples, but the point is that until the Africans always say that until the lions start telling their own story, the story of the hunt will always glorify the hunter. We go out there and tell ourselves how brave we are and how we face the lion. But if the lion is able to get a mic and actually tell us what has happened, we would see that it's actually not the case. We would see that we even managed to do certain things in our trousers when the lion just made the first sound. But because the lion never gets an opportunity to tell its story, the story of the hunt always glorifies the hunter. There is, last on this zone of being and the zone of non-being, there is this culture where we have digitized and we've mechanical, what is the word? The mechanization of human beings. Ms. Mocho, are you here? Can you please come here? So I didn't know her. I was just greeting everybody. And as I was greeting everybody, so we spoke when I just came. She's 59 years old, 11 months, and 14 days. So that basically means that in 2 weeks' time, she will not be at the city of Windhoek. By the end of October, she will not be here. But what does it mean at the practical level? It means this. On her last day, if she comes and maybe she forgets something at the office, I would assume when she comes to the building to access the building, the fingers will be illegitimate. The finger that has been legitimate for the past 20 years. She will be illegitimate in the buildings that she has been for quite a long time. But it's a human being, isn't it? Somebody who's been here. But when you think about it deeply, is this the type of society that we must have? So when people are exiting our city, and they are responsible for quite a number of things in the city, do we just live in a society where tomorrow the doors are no longer opening, and when some colleagues see them and then you are no longer legitimate? And I just hope in our engagement, these things somehow need to be able to stop. We need to be able to recognize people before they leave. I'm told people just live quietly in the city. You turn 60 tomorrow and then it's your last day and then goodbye. We can't live in a society like that. Thank you very much. We can't live in a society like that. So I'm saying, giving you all these examples. Chief Kanime. So I'm giving you all these examples so that you can now begin thinking carefully about what is it that we do to one another because of where we think we locate ourselves artificially in the zone of being and the zone of non-being. Now, as a collective leadership, there is certain things that we want to do and we want to do them differently. And when you think about all those things, and I'll just share with some of the things that we want to do, we are really essentially saying we want to build a sense of identity in the city of Windhoek. And we think that you have seen it all. You have seen it all when the city used to function properly. You have seen it all when the city did not function properly. You have seen it, all those up and down, you have been there. So we think that you can do better. Just here, when this building, when we came here, we found that there's actually an elevator, and there's an elevator for food. And we asked, what is happening here? So the employee at 1 o'clock must go to different places, they must cross the road. And we have about, in this building, probably about 1,000 employees. They must go elsewhere to find food because people were waiting apparently for a tender, for a cafeteria. We've now established the City Cafe, where together with the hotel school, we are preparing the food cheaply. The food here is the most cheap food that you can find. And we want to go to other places where you work. We are starting here. City Cafe is owned by the municipality. We've not gone out on tender. What is the idea? Is to create some sort of identity that we must be able to do these things ourselves. Our employees must be able to have meetings here, mingle with one another. Some of them are young. We want to hear a story one day that the young men and the young women found themselves at City Cafe. Now, 5 years later, they are married. A sense of identity. We can be wrong, we can be right, you know better, but we're just sharing with you what we think is it that we can do. So the city is simply, when you go to those offices, people are just using papers, administering tenders. So we want to move away where we can to these ideas of tenders and tenders and tenders and tenders. Some of you know they work better. So we've now established a company called Nova Actus Pty Ltd. It's not owned by the deputy mayor. It's owned by the city of Windhoek. When the deputy mayor and the mayor, these ones are going to leave very soon in November, but the company will remain. After all these councillors are gone after 5 years, the company will remain. But the idea is that certain things that we can do ourselves, let's do them. We can't just be a city that just gives tenders to tenderpreneurs when we can do work ourselves. Everything is just tender, 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 tender. Some of the world contractors that want to protest, and they wanted to give tenders and tenders. This group that is collecting the dustbin is this company. This group that is picking up here is another company. This group that is doing that is another company. No. If we are able to in-source security guards ourselves so that we can recognize their humanity, let's do it. So that we can pay them better, let's do it. If the world contractors must be employed in-house, let's do it. So those are the initiatives that we are doing ourselves, and you know better, you have seen it better. We are only thinking as your children, but we think that we can share those ideas. We can't just live in a society where the rich and the poor are separate. We deliberately found land there, and all the councillors went to visit that land in Simbabasia. And that is the land where we want to build about 900 houses that are built by the city, owned by the city. Whether there's going to be old age homes, and maybe some of you in a few years' time, you will be accommodated there. If you struggle, maybe, you know, some of you have not worked hard, with all due respect, and it's tough. But we also want to just make sure that those things are all there. In Simbabasia, instead of just selling the land to the rich, we must be able to have our own footprint and say, in Simbabasia, we're building the new Windhoek. This is how we want the city to be. And this is not the mayor's idea. This is the collective leadership of this leadership. We want to do things different and create a sense of identity. People must be able to say, this is what the council is doing in Simbabasia, not the tenders that we've given to these sources that are apparently developers. What we are doing ourselves. I was told that through the External Relations Office, there is some budget. They go and collect money from people, and the mayor has about 50,000 that they can decide on what project we can do. There is a problem in Koreaha, as you know. There are serial rapists. There are children have been raped. The person raped from one sheikh to the other, from one sheikh to the other. But the police doesn't seem to find this rapist. So I've asked the officials in my office to, even just a prefabricated structure, to put a police station there in Koreaha, just for police visibility. Then Chief Kanime can give us some station commander there just to be there, give us a car, and also have human settlement people to whatever problems are there, and also have cashier. You know, some people have this water token and they must travel to town or to the Captura office just to recharge those things. So they are busy working on that, and we are hope over the coming weeks, the councillors will be able to go deep in Koreaham and open that police station. Again, to give a sense of identity. It's not just to continue things they are as recommended, as consolidation and all those things, so that we can also have things that we are doing as a collective leadership. We've now taken a decision that all those public open spaces, sometimes you have your house and then there's a public open space. Before you know it, after some time, they put up flats there. And then the place where your children are supposed to be, they've given it up to some other people for some other tenders. We've now decided this policy where if your house is next to the public open spaces, you are allowed to get 10 meters. And that money from the sale of that just goes to the pool of the budget. Now, Ms. Komali is not going to touch that money. Council have already agreed and decided that there's going to be a separate budget where the money goes there for the public open spaces, so that your children are able to play next door. So we'll now have a dedicated fund just for those playgrounds, those public open spaces. And most of you have seen quite a number of councillors do quite funny things. And we are quite very serious about that. We've agreed as a collective that all of us next year, all the 15 councillors, including myself, are going to study for a degree called Bachelor of Arts in Political Leadership and Citizenship, so that we are able to learn with one another, so that there's no big skill gap. So those are the things that we want to be able to do ourselves. Check what happened, and most of you, at 1 o'clock every day, you must go and pick up your kids. How hectic it is. And you are unproductive at times because you need to quickly rush and get your kids. Most of the time you are stuck in traffic. But in other African countries, what do? They have buses that take the kids to school. What will happen is that there will be a bus station in your location. There are specific buses that are going to a certain school, and they go and drop the children at those schools. All you do, you drop your child at that bus station. There's somebody from the police that is making sure the children are safe, and then you can get to work. 1 o'clock, the bus comes and picks up the kids. But our buses only pick up the working class. So I've asked the CEO to engage with the transport colleagues just to see if we can have a bus or two to experiment, even to just take 2 buses, to see whether we cannot assist the working class in collecting their children from school. It's going to be safer, it's not going to be congested. You go to some of those schools, you can't even park because everyone is picking up their child. But we are the only one in the transport sector that are making a loss. Those taxis, they don't make losses, but we make a loss. We get about 80 million from the buses, Ms. Komali, and we put in maybe about 100-something million. So we're making a loss. But we are asking, they must do proper study, they must not do it immediately. Study and do rough calculation. When you speak to ordinary working class and you ask them, are you willing to pay 650 per month for your child to be picked in the morning and also at 1 o'clock and dropped at home? Most of them are willing. Maybe there's a business case that could be made there. Maybe we can make, I'm not saying it can work, but it's worth investigating. There's quite a number of people. It's like if you are in Commerce-Dal now, we're trying to put the robots there, but if you are in Commerce-Dal, there was a transport study that is done. If you live at the Sona and you are in Commerce-Dal, the person that lives at the Sona in Okahanja, because of that dual road, would get to Windhoek faster than yourself. Because of all those traffic things. I was shocked. I couldn't believe it. But when I was thinking about it, we have a lot of people that are living there. If our buses are making a loss, what if we put 2 buses on that road, Windhoek Okahanja Road, and also in Rehoboth? Those are the initiatives that we are trying to do and sharing with you, because we think that you could advise us better. So that you can also understand, we are trying to at least have some of our footprints. It's not easy, it's a big organization, you know it better. If you struggle with it, how about your children and majority of these councillors are really young. We are also thinking about having Windhoek Civic Awards. There are people who make significant contribution. These things of heroes and heroes acres stories, it's very complicated. But some of you make a significant contribution. Some of you, we hear that a police officer rescued so-and-so, or somebody, I don't know, it was in Wavesby. I was speaking to the mayor of Wavesby, hearing that one guy, he died defending his girlfriend because this other jealous boyfriend, ex-boyfriend, came and he wanted to stab the girl, and he stabbed the girl about 12 times or something like that, and he came to rescue the girl, and he died bravely defending and saving a life. This government will never recognize that person because they were not in exile, because they were not heroes, they didn't fight wars and things like that. But this is a person who died fighting, saving a life. If something like that happens in Windhoek, shouldn't we be able to say, as a city, we have a particular section, we declare that person as a hero, and we are going to give them a hero funeral as a city because a resident has made that significant contribution. So we are thinking about that. That discussion came in the Heritage Committee, discussing what is it that we can do when it comes to some of those things. I'm just sharing with you a few things so that you don't feel that your children are just busy. You see, most of the time the newspapers only report about our fights. They don't report about the positive things that we are doing here. But we want to tell you that we are trying our level best. It's not easy, but we're trying our level best. So we really called you here to tell you that we recognize your humanity. To tell you that to us, if you lose your child, if you lose your mother, regardless of where you are, it should be very important to us. We should be able to not only sympathize, but also empathize. Yeah? Sympathy is to say, oh, sorry. But to empathize is to put yourself in the shoes of a person in that particular moment when they are at that particular point of need. We call you here so that you can hear us. But we also call you here so that we can hear from you. And that is what is most important. And there's one of the elders who had written some notes. He wanted to give them to me. I thought, I don't want them to get lost. There are already suggestion box there at the gate as you come. If you are not aware, if you feel that you don't want to say it, but we hope that there will be some of you who can get a mic really and tell us. If the mayor is useless, just say it. Mayor, you are useless. Then maybe I can learn from my uselessness. Or maybe there's something that I'm missing, or there's something that other councillors are missing, or some suggestion that you have, or some problems that you think we can attend. Because we believe you, as this generation, 55 to 60, you know it all, you have seen it all, and you have seen people with energy, and then with the passage of time, they lose their energy. So you look at that as, the REFCOM, with time. Yeah, so those things are quite very important to us. And we hope from this evening, from what you have already written down and what you are also going to share with us, we hope to learn from each one of you. And we are going to try our level best so that we move Windhoek, we move our employees, we move our society, and we move whoever we speak to from the orientation of treating people as being in the zone of being in the zone of non-being. So that line of the human to us as the collective leadership should not exist. Thank you very much. I now